Hello my friends, William Poloniak again. Today I'm making another anti-inflammatory spine cord rejuvenation juice, and in this formula my main ingredients are red Swiss chard, onions, and a few other ingredients. Let's look at my other ingredients. In addition to my red Swiss chard and onions, I have carrots, of course, double the amount of ginger that I ordinarily use, 1 garlic, 160 grams of turmeric, a bunch of dandelions, and 1 large romaine lettuce. So let's start making juice. As usual, I'm going to plug in my thermometer to monitor my temperature and put in 3 ice cubes to cool down the cutter and the feed tube. Now today I'm using an ordinary feed tube with the near zero blowback cutter. I'm going to start with red Swiss chard. Now because the near zero blowback cutter does such a good job, I'm using the number 2 grid, which is normally for carrots. I'm going to feed in a few more turmeric and then clean my grid because greens are very, very fibrous. Clean my grid. Scrape the pulp off on both sides. And continue. Notice my temperature's up to 21 already, and when it gets to 23 I'm going to add more ice cubes. Next I'll do my dandelion. More dandelion. Now I want to remind you, because the near zero blowback cutter does such a good job, you'll be tempted to put in more produce. Don't do that. Less produce is more effective. The rest of my dandelion. It's 30, so I'm going to put in more ice cubes. I'll clean my grid. The more often you clean your grid, the faster your juicing process will go and the lower your temperature will be. And we'll continue this time with the romaine lettuce. Cut this in half. The last of my onion, we'll fold that in half as we did before. I'll do my ginger. Up to 20, so 3 more ice cubes. But because my garlic has got some dirt in the bottom, I'm going to separate the cloves and do the cloves separately. I don't want to get any of that dirt in there. Now I'm going to put a few carrots through to clean up the shoot and then clean it. My grid, and then I'll continue with the rest of my carrots. Here's the last of my carrots. no matter what feed tube you're using, there's always a plug of produce in here. So what I'm going to do is take some carrot pulp, put it in the feed tube, and push that last plug through. Next, I'm going to clean the grid holder, the feed tube, and the cutter, mix my produce, and make some juice. And I want to point out that now that I've used the original feed tube, I notice I much prefer the front-loading feed tube. I can actually see what I'm doing, and it's ergonomically more comfortable. But my front-loading feed tube is at the machine shop getting some final touches made. Right, the next step is to mix my produce, rotating the bowl in both directions to get a really good mix. And then we'll put it into the cloths and press our pulp and make some juice. Now I'm going to demonstrate my less work 6-cloth method, and we start by putting 3 generous ladles full of pulp in a cloth, folded in thirds like this, pat it down. A nice tight package, the tighter the better, and we're going to press 2 cloths full at once. Your most ideal method is to press 2 cloths full at once, not 1, not 3, not 4, but 2. It's much more efficient that way. So we'll put the tray in. 2 cloths go into the tray. Now this is very important. Centered left to right, centered front to back, adjust it if necessary, all the way back, back it off, and continue filling cloths while that's pressing. Now when you're on your last cloth, advance that all the way. And you'll notice a puddle of juice in the collection bowl. So what I'm going to do when I demonstrate my less work 6-cloth method is show you 2 ways to deal with that. Now here's the 6-cloth less work method. This goes forward, this goes over, the spent cloths go on top. 2 more cloths in the tray. Check. Centered left to right, front to back, all the way back, back it off. Now I've got some juice in my bowl, so what I'm going to do is very, very carefully pour that into my collection container. And one method is to take the pulp, we do not throw it away, take it, crush it, put it in the puddle of juice in the bowl, and continue. Take some fresh pulp, put 3 ladles. Set that aside. The next method is to not put the pulp in the bowl. Leave it in the cloth, like I'm doing here. And first I'm going to mix the dry pulp with the wet pulp. Get a nice mix here. And then instead of 3 scoops, 2 scoops go on top. And when you're on your last cloth, advance that all the way. Nice tight package, the tighter the better. Again, this goes forward, this goes over. The spent cloths go on top. 2 more cloths full of pulp in the press. Make sure your tray's on properly. Centered left to right, centered front to back, adjust it if necessary. All the way back, back it off. And we continue the same rhythm. This goes forward, this goes over. The spent cloths go on top. Keep your eye on the bowl because it's getting very, very full. All the way back, back it off a little bit. More pulp. Okay, that's too full, so I'm going to stop it. And before I put that into bottles, I'm going to continue filling this with pulp. Set that aside. I'm going to use a spatula to get the very, very last of this precious pulp. I don't want to waste anything. put this in the sink and clean that later. Fold these cloths. And when I finish pressing all my cloths, I'm going to show you how I can get 10% more juice using a Whole Health Foundation Premium Model Juicer. The Premium Model Juicer has a solid bottom plate, and that enables you to get over 10% more juice. So, I'm going to set this back, but not a little bit, so that it doesn't drip on my countertop. Way back, so it's very, very obvious. So let's put this into bottles. Now I'm filling these bottles from the back side so that the camera can get a good look, and you notice I'm leaving about 10% left for distilled or filtered water. I'm going to top it off with distilled water. I use a water distiller because I have a water distiller, but filtered water is okay. Let's make more juice. And while these last two cloths are pressing, I'm going to form the spent pulp into a tight package and show you how we can get 10% more juice. Now, as you can see, I have repackaged all the spent pulp into 3 tight packages, and I'm using a measuring beaker that will show us how many more ounces of juice we can get using the Whole Health Foundation Premium Model Juicer. Now this is very important. Center this in the center of the tray in both directions, front to back, back to front. This is very, very important. All the way back, and as soon as I get juice flow, I'm going to back that off because I don't want this to go up too fast. There's juice flow. Now as soon as I get traction up there, I'll advance it all the way. 12 ounces so far. Now your most valuable nutrients are in your last 10% of your press. So this juice is much more valuable than the first part of the pressing. Let's see if we can crank any more juice out of these 3 cloths. Centered left to right, centered front to back, all the way back. When I get juice flow, I'm going to back it off. There's 14 ounces so far, so I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to back that off. And we'll pour this into the collection bowl and fill more bottles. Now I'm topping off my juices with distilled water. You can use filtered water. And the whole trick to making your juice last long is to fill the bottles until you have a convex curve on the top and they're overflowing. You want no oxygen in your bottle whatsoever, and your juice can last over 5 days. I've had juice last over 10 days. So we'll cap this off, and then we'll do a taste test. As you can see, I have 7 bottles of juice, plus enough for a taste test. And remember, one of these bottles was the extra juice I got from using the Whole Health Foundation Premium Model Juicer. So let's do a taste test. Now for a taste test, the anti-inflammatory spine cord rejuvenation juice with onions, 1 romaine lettuce, carrots, ginger, garlic, turmeric, and dandelion. Well, it's got a bite from the onion, and I can definitely taste the dandelion. It's a tad on the bitter side. I hope you like what you see, and if you do, please tell a friend. And if you'd like to call me, my phone number is 760-753-0321. My email address is developtrust@cox.net, and my webpage is wholehealthfound.com. I'll see you in the next video.